on my final shakeout before SPEEDGOAT. Just doing 2 by the Y trail. Got a long sleeve on. I don't know if that's good or bad. Tomorrow 6:30 a.m. Gonna get out there. I mean, I should have it within me to be within the top 10 easily. I don't know that everything's perfectly lined for a great race, but I think heat management and taking 3 bottles from the top of that first climb is probably going to be the most important thing. That's it for the lap. Lap 2, that is. And see you on the finish line tomorrow, I guess. See if Caroline can take a few videos.
A warm welcome to Mr. Carl, the SPEEDGOAT himself. Thanks, folks.
Thank you. Let's go!
You got it, Zach!
It's now time to welcome our next finisher. Make some noise for Zachary Garner.
Not too bad.
Yeah?
So to summarize what happened, I ended up finishing 7th. I ran 5:35, so 17 minutes back from first place. I am glad I showed up because I was pretty close to my fastest time ever at SPEEDGOAT with some pretty suboptimal training. The weather was great though. You do have to run pretty much the whole race to do well at SPEEDGOAT, and ultimately I was in 6th at the top of Hidden Peak. As I started going downhill, Coleman Cragen ended up running some 5:30s on that downhill, and so he passed me and put a little bit of time on me on the end, but I didn't feel too upset about that. I was running like 7-minute pace on the downhill at the very end, and I definitely didn't expect anything a lot faster than that at the end. I'm glad I went, and I'll probably be back running that same race next year. And it was cool to see some local people up there on the podium again. One of the strongest people there, Eric Sorensen, was running with me at the beginning and then ended up finishing 2nd and passed everyone. He finished within 20 seconds of the leader at the very end. So that was pretty impressive. That race, really, you've got to hold on for the first climb and downhill, and then the race kind of starts from there. You try to hold the same pace. I think I ran at like high 6-minute gap for the first climb until like mile 9.5, and then I was holding like 7-minute gap going back up. I ran one of the fastest times for that whole second climb coming back up, and passed a couple of people and moved up to 6th, but then lost a place on the final downhill, and I wasn't that close to catching Grant and Adam, who were ahead of us. So fun experience overall, and I'm glad that I was able to pull something decent out on Saturday. So I just wanted to share a quick tutorial on how I modify my Norda shoes. So here's the 5. Here's the pair that I've been running in. I ran 3 races in this shoe and I've been training in it. You might notice there's a little difference at the back here. So the shoe comes with a logo back here that adds a little bit of stiffness to the back of the shoe that makes it so it either basically doesn't bend at all or it bends right at the bottom of the logo. And that can be an issue because in order to bend at the logo at the bottom right there, you have to put pressure on the top, which means that your basically one point on the Achilles has to press that back. And that's not perfect. And so I actually just take the logo off of the back, and you still have the Dyneema fabric across there. You can see the stitching is actually still totally fine. And so all it takes to make this little modification is basically just a pair of pliers and grab the edge. Takes a little work to get started, but you can see, so cleaned up now around the back. I might throw like a few stitches in here. I'll make sure they don't come through the front, but just stitch across the back to make sure that's reinforced. Basically, the rigidity is now gone back here, but the tension should still be mostly there to hold my heel in. And this will be good for like ultra marathon running where you don't want to have anything possibly going wrong back here. And for anyone who's like, oh, you ruined your shoe, it's not gonna last a long time. Well, look at this one. You can see this shoe has been through the ringer, and look at the heel, it's still fine. So I wouldn't worry about doing this unless you have an issue, but if you do, or maybe for me, I wore a different pair of shoes and got a blister on my Achilles. Now I don't want to be messing around with anything that could be problematic in suboptimal conditions. When everything's perfect, it was fine, but when it wasn't, I was a little bit nervous or worried. And you know, if your heel hurts, that could slow you down. So if you do have any issues, I'd say just don't hesitate to pull everything off. I mean, it's like pulling the swoosh logo off. It doesn't really matter. You can still tell the branding is still there. The branding is still right here. It's not really a big deal. Yeah, that's just the modification that I personally have ended up making to this shoe. It doesn't make a huge difference, but I think it's enough to prevent the possibility of any type of Achilles blister.